So today I was putting a couple of devices on charge and planning to do some updates to some of the mobile phones, and then I realised that may as well put it all out on show. Well, I have more than I thought I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run through what my comms plans are and go through. So I'm really hoping there isn't an EMP right now, because basically everything is out of the EMP boxes and bags behind me. So let's get started. So probably the most important thing to start with is this little document that I've made up right here. You've seen this in other videos. This is of where the repeaters are, what all the radio frequency things are in Australia, and what channels and phone numbers and things like that. If I come across someone else's radio equipment, that's what I need to know. The map shows me what the repeaters are in case I need to set up my own to mimic it, to provide comms to other people that might not know better. So that's probably the most important thing. It's free to make, do it first, as you don't know. So hand in hand with that is probably the most semi-legal thing in this list, in this set, is the Balfang Radio, which I use with an extension cable for the antenna, so I can use other antennas with it. I have a couple of overcompensating antennas here to use with it that I would have weave through my pack and things. I'm still working that. So it is, from what I can tell, legal to own, illegal to operate unless you have a ham, and it comes predefined with all the wrong settings we use with Australian frequencies. So I've got a programming cable and I've changed all that, but it is still illegal for me to transmit on. Basically my theory is that it provides a lot of versatility. It charges from USB, which means that it has extra versatility in my kit. And even just using it as a radio receiver or analyzer to see what's going on, give you a bit more wideband, will be worth it. And if I really need to use it in an emergency and they come to arrest me, at least I'm getting saved. So that's a plus. So we'll start from the left here. So here I have a Microsoft Surface 2 that I got for $50-ish off a friend. Basically it's a full-blown Windows, which means I can use it to program up radios and run software and run ATAC and things like that. So that's good. Pretty small form factor. I've got a keyboard and things for it as well that I keep in the box, and it's quite useful to have a full-blown Windows. I can program Arduinos and all that sort of stuff from it, so that's what I got. Next up here on the left is Trx Handheld Units. So these are legal for me to use, and so that's what I keep in my get home bag kit. So it's also an FM receiver, so it does double duty. It has exactly the same pin sockets as the Balfang does, so I can use the Balfang handsets and go on, and they are, as I said, legal for me to use. Right, so I've got a pair of those while I'm charging them. Next up I have a little mini battery operated one, much shorter range but also legal to use. In my get home bag kit I keep one big one and one small one. The one small one that I keep in my get home bag is actually inside of this. I recommend you do the same. It's a mobile phone waterproof bag, so I keep it in there, and I keep a whole bunch of extra batteries as well. Never know when you need to do comms. Balance outside with this radio is it doesn't have a headphone port, so you can't listen to it discreetly. So it might work for an observation post or someone trying to call back to you, but again, that's a bit of a downside. So there. These have been serving me for years, these little ones. They're rechargeable, take up rechargeable AA batteries. These ones do have a port on them for headphones. A little bit waterproof, but to be honest, they're very old now. I think they're only the 40 channel instead of 80 channel. So they're not quite as open for current specs of UHF in Australia. Across the front here I have a bunch of mobile phones. I picked up a box of 7 for $50 off eBay. They are slow, they are Android 5 or 6, and they do the job. They have an extra SD memory chip in them, or capability, and then we put that in, and I put Wikipedia on there, and I have ATAC and a bunch of other things. They have headphone sockets, so I can connect them up to radios and things if I really wanted to. That's a work in progress. I have a couple of multi-purpose charging cables in here as well, so I can charge phones and devices. You've seen this already. This is a wideband radio receiver, which has the 18650 cell in it, which I keep in a bag. I keep a spare headlamp also in there, just as accessories. This is also 18650 that goes in the bag. And I've recently picked up a couple of these little 18650 battery to USB charging and output. So what this lets me do is use the 18650 cells from these as power stations. So I'm doubling up there. A couple. I recommend having in your kit an extension cable. I've got a piggyback one here, and I also have a piggyback power point with a couple of USB ports on it. I really love this device. I'm quite good. I'm going to replace all of my USB chargers with it. For example, this one, common USB charger, 1 amp, 2 amp, but it doesn't have the piggyback option, so you can't use it somewhere and not interrupt something else. Let's get going. Here I have my Starlink receiver box. Because I'm going to be using my normal Wi-Fi routers, I'm going to have this in my EMP box. And I need to buy myself another power supply, because most likely the thing to get destroyed will be the power supply. Here I have a 12 volt DC battery to USB and power, and 12 volt cigarette lighter sockets. So I can attach that to a car battery to run all my comms and gear. I have 2 of these, which are solar battery charger controllers. I have a few extra solar panels and things that I can rig up into them. They also got USB ports on them, so again I could charge the Balfang or phones or whatever from it. And 2 of those, obviously, because they're made in China, they could probably blow up. What else? I've got some stuff I had in the bag. I've got a Impact Sport headphones, which I can connect through to my Balfang radio or any other radios. I have a drone, so I can get a bit of altitude and fly it around, control it from the phones. Also have the tablet. This is a fairly recent edition. I was testing it last night, and that's radio to radio joiner. So what it lets me do is connect either my Trx radios or my Balfangs, because they've both got the same socket, together and make my own impromptu repeater. Works quite well. Once received on one, it's still on the other, and vice versa. These TRX radios are dual band radios, so you can have like an A frequency and a B frequency, and it'll listen on the B frequency but transmit on the A and B, on the A. So what I can do is I can then have it listening on 4 frequencies and retransmitting. And if I've got the Balfang, I can tune it to other things. So that's quite handy. Here again, I have keep this in my EMP box, which is a crank radio, just UHF, normal radio, torch, etc., rechargeable batteries. But I got it from a reject shop for $7, so that was a good find, and I keep my eye open for that sort of stuff, because, you know, for a couple of dollars, who needs it. One of the other things I keep in my kit is a RTL SDR, so I keep that so I can do spectrum analysis and things. I have thought about going full SDR, software-defined radio transmit capability as well, but I don't think I'll actually need to use it considering all the other radios I got. So here I have 2 aircraft radios, which are for obviously talking ground to aircraft. It is illegal for me to transmit, but I use these to listen to weather reports from the stations and listen to aircraft at air shows and stuff. It's nice and fun. And yeah, I can listen, put a headphone into it and listen. It does have a different socket to the Balfangs, which means that I can't use them for the repeaters, but I could probably figure something out. I just have a couple of extra accessories there, like 12 volt chargers for things, and the handsets. This is one that most normal people probably don't need. So this is a 802.11 ABG device that has promiscuous mode, which means I can mess around with wireless packets and transmit them. I used to be a penetration tester, so that's the type of stuff I do all the time, setting up fake access points and things. So it's good for me to have, and I can tie it in with this kit. A couple of extension cables. This is an interesting one. This is a grounding kit, so you have issues with antennas if they're not grounded properly. So this is an anti-static and grounding kit that I bought. And finally, here is a 802.11 radar. So this one is rooted and running WRT, DDWRT. So basically I keep that in the EMP box as well, because if I need to set up a wireless access point and do some things, I can. If it's a switch, I can connect computers, I can set up as a wireless bridge. I've had these things running out over 50 plus kilometers with some proper antennas, and I've got some other antennas that I've used with that stuff in the past. But having, ability to do wide area network comms is good. And yeah, just the other last thing is the solar panel. So this is just a USB-C solar charger, which I can connect into this, or the phones, or the whatever I need to get some extra charge into my devices. And a normal 802.11 wireless dongle that doesn't have the promiscuous mode, just in case I need to connect a second computer or link two computers. And I think that's it. I think I've covered everything in my comms plan. Now I'm going to finish getting everything charged, and off I go. I do have in the garage, which I don't want to get out, is a multi-frequency antenna that I can mount up on the roof and connect into some of these devices, and that way I can get a very wide set of frequencies with good. Kind of looks like the Sputnik. It's got antennas coming down and up and sideways, but I keep it in the garage because I don't want to draw attention to myself. But there we go. So any questions or comments, put it below. Finalizing, I'll put a link, I think, to this map if you're in Victoria, so you can kind of see what I do with it. I also keep other documents in there as well. So photos of my wife and her family and my family. So for something that's free, it's really useful. And I keep a notepad and some cash in there as well, just to keep us covered. And there we go. EMP bags and things, just to reiterate on that. So I've got the EMP tub and the EMP bag. EMP bag travels with me in the car. Basically it protects a set of radios and this and headlamps and stuff, so that way if I need to, I've got them. There are several types of EMP shielded bags or EM shielded bags. So this one is actually rated for a solar flare, which is I think the most likely EMP that'll get me. But in terms of other bags, they might only shield RF or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and won't actually get the whole wideband. To say shielding, it's not quite accurate. It's all about reduction. Nothing will be 100% effective. So when I store my radios in the EMP stuff, I actually unscrew the antennas. So these little ones might have issues that I can't remove the antennas on, because the antenna will act to amplify that signal that's coming in that gets through the EMP shield. So that's worth considering. Obviously the phones can't do that. I did forget to mention this. I keep this in my EMP tub, which is a charger for the batteries, AA and AAA, which I've run out of, so I need to put some new batteries in there. Reminder to self. So I can do it, and obviously I can run this in this, so I can charge AA batteries as well as charge things if I don't have proper chargers. And this device here also has rechargeable batteries in it that I can use the crank handle to charge if I don't want to do the 18650. So I've got quite a wide range of options and flexibility. In terms of price, the garbage can and the bag are about the same. Cost me about $80 all up to make up the container, and that's a 5 litre, I think it's silent bag. But when you're looking at the EMP bags, make sure you do check to see that they're rated for solar flares, which means they've got a wide spectrum. If they're not, generally the cheaper ones are not rated for that. So that's a dry bag and an EMP bag, so it does double duty, even though I do keep stuff in plastic bags. Alright, now I think I'm finally done. Like I said, questions and comments below, like and subscribe, all that sort of junk. Have a good day.